Right, I believe we're live. Let me just check this all out. New technology for me. This is my third Facebook Live using Zoom. It still freaks me out a little bit every time. It's quite a lot of technology to sort out. It's on a few systems. So I think from looking at my iPad, we are actually going live. So hurrah, that seems to have worked. And thank you for joining us. I'm very excited to be doing this interview with Sophie Noonan, who is the UK country director of the Hunger Project. And I don't know if you remember, but when I set up this group, it seems like eons ago now, I set it up on the 28th of February of this year. And pretty soon after that, I decided, well, when I saw that people were very interested in GDPR and we started to see how well the sales of my GDPR pack were going, I had a real desire to be able to contribute significantly to a cause that was very close to my heart as a result of my work on GDPR, but your interest in GDPR. So I am thrilled to have here today Sophie, and we're going to talk a little bit about what I have been able to do to help because of what you've done in buying the pack, and also a little bit wider about what is the Hunger Project, and tell you a little bit more about it, how you've contributed to really changing lives. I'm going to show you a couple of videos, and if you're interested in learning more and seeing how you can take more of an active role in helping the Hunger Project, then you can listen to that too. So I'm super excited. Sophie, thank you so much for taking time out of what I know is a very busy schedule to be here with us.
Thank you so much to have invited me. And hello, everybody in the community. And thank you so much.
No, well, thank you.
To be here.
Thank you for being with us. So, so I first became aware of the Hunger Project through my business partner, Dr. Joanna Martin, who I'm sure many of you know. And she'd been working with you quite closely for a while before that, hadn't she? She'd been advising on fundraising and things like that. Because those of you who don't know Jo, she she still is a world-class speaker herself, but her business used to be teaching people around the world how to speak and how to sell from the stage. So Jo was working quite closely with the Hunger Project, helping you with strategies for fundraising and things like that. And I became aware of the Hunger Project through Jo. And so I've probably been involved since about 2015, I think, when I went on you had like a gala dinner, didn't you, in London, which was a fantastic night. And we had people, there was a really inspirational lady there from, I want to say Bangladesh, is that right?
Yes, that's right. It was Nasima, who is our head of programs in Bangladesh, doing a lot of work for girls' rights, stopping child marriage, and empowering girls to stay in education and transform their country.
Yeah, and that's actually what I love about the Hunger Project and why I've been such a supporter over the last few years. And that is because the whole philosophy is about going in and empowering the local community to transform their lives. It's not about handouts. It's about giving them the inspiration, the empowerment, the education, the tools to go about creating a change in their own lives. And for me as a woman, and as a woman who every day thinks there, but for the grace of God, am I born to in this privileged Western society where I've been able to go and get a law degree and I've been able to have the financial success that I've had. It could have been so very easily different if I'd have been born on the other side of the world in a developing country. And so the Hunger Project has realised that women, as we women know, as probably the men know too who are watching this, the women are really the heart of the community. And so the Hunger Project goes in and works very closely with women leaders in the community and puts in place some really fundamental changes to what's going on in areas like child marriage, obviously poverty. The whole thing about the Hunger Project is that it is the aim to end world poverty by, I want to say 2030, or is it 2050?
It's 2030.
2030.
It's very soon, but this can be achieved if everybody is doing their bit, and like you have done, and that everybody gets involved, stand up and say, I want this to happen in my lifetime, and become agent of change. Women are key in ending hunger and poverty for many reasons. I'm going to just mention a few. The first one is because in the household, they're often the one providing the food, they're the one taking care of the children. So they're playing a key role in improving the livelihood of the family. The second point is that something like it's 6 out of 10 and 8 out of 10 of the rural farmers in Africa and in India are women. If you give them the tools to get access to land, if you give them the tools to improve their production, obviously it's changed a lot in terms of hunger and in terms of food accessibility. And thirdly, if they have the means to just bring an extra income in the family, or sometimes by themselves raising the children, they improve also income in the household. But if they set up a small business, they can also create work for other women in the community. So we're transforming everything. We are saying that when women rise, the village rise.
I love that. When the woman rises, the village rises. Absolutely. And I took part in something that I think you do every year, which is Live Below the Line, which is where you go and buy your groceries for the week on £5. And that's it. You're only allowed to eat those groceries that you've bought with that £5. And I have to say, I did it. It was awful. And the main thing that struck me, I wasn't hungry so much because, you know, for £5, and to be fair, you know, a lot of the people wouldn't have £5 to spend a week on one person's groceries at all. You know, that was probably living very well. So I wasn't starving. But what really got me was the blandness, the repetitiveness, and the lack of nutrition. You know, because all I could afford with that £5 that was going to keep me going for the week was porridge, but just pure porridge with water, rice, tin tomatoes. There was no meat. You know, maybe there was, I think, one carrot. You know, that was what, you know, I'm a real foodie. So to go through that experience of just a week and realize, you know, people that have to eat just gruel day in, day out for morning breakfast and, you know, for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Goodness me. But anyway, so I love the Hunger Project and their work. And I'm really delighted to say that I've just been able to give them a 5-figure donation as a result of you guys buying the pack, which, you know, is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They can do so much good work with that money. And obviously, for those of you who watch this video, if you're inspired to make donations from your own business profits or get involved in some of the more active campaigns that they have, like the Live Below the Line challenge, they do a lot of walks and mud runs and things like that. You're doing really innovative stuff all the time. I took part in a baking challenge. My cake, I noticed, was the least eaten cake. But I did win the whipping challenge, the whipping cream challenge, which I was very proud about. So there's loads of stuff to get involved with. If you feel like there's, you know, that aspect in your life, that contribution side, which I feel as business owners is so important. You know, if that contribution side in your business is lacking, then I'd really encourage you to look at the work of the Hunger Project, because they're a small charity. You know, they're not Macmillan. You know, they're not Save the Children. You know, they're global, but relatively small. And I think that, you know, from what I've seen of how they go in and really make a difference on the ground, you know, it's absolutely fantastic. And one of the things that Sophie's doing next year is they take supporters out to see the good work that they're doing. And I'm very much hoping to do that in 2019. But do you want to just say a few words about that, Sophie?
Yes, one of the things which is really important in our work, and it's also a big lesson in life for everybody, is like ending hunger and poverty, we've got millions and millions of women and men and even children which are working relentlessly, every day to make it happen in their village, in their community, in their family. They don't want their children to die from hunger or from malnutrition. They want their children to express their full potential, and they want to have a better life. So going, first of all, standing with them and saying, in solidarity, in sisterhood, in brotherhood, we're going to make a difference and help them in all their efforts to build a better future for themselves and their children. It's one thing. And also, and that's one of the work we did with Joanna, is to see and to learn lessons from these women, from our partners. What can you learn from them? They are really doing amazing things.
I'm sure there is so much we can learn in terms of resilience, determination, counting your blessings. You know, there's a million and one things that we can learn. I'm absolutely sure of that. I'm sure it will be an absolutely life-changing experience for anyone who goes and experiences that.
Exactly. We are planning to bring a group. It will be one of our first, bring a group of people which have been doing some fundraising efforts and are really committed to be agent of change and contribute to ending hunger and poverty by 2030. We're hoping to bring them as a group to visit one of our country programs in Africa, to visit the villages and to interact and to exchange with our partners, with our women partners, and with young girls, young men. We are staying in their village and taking initiatives, creating business themselves to for themselves, but also for their village, also for their community. The Hunger Project is a very, you talk about our work and the fact that we were a small charity and any contribution are making a big, big difference. But also all our work is done thanks to volunteers, animators. That's how we call them. These are people in the villages who are committed and who decide to give some of their time to help the community, to share that knowledge and to train others. So we are training those volunteers, those animators that themselves play a key role within the community and train other members of the community. And it's like a snowball. And then you've got all the villages involved and all the villages, I will say, learning, being trained and changing their life. Yeah. Because of that, the return on investments in our programs is very high because it's all based on training and thanks to these people who give their time to make it happen in their village.
Fantastic. Well, let's just watch. I hope this technology will work. We're going to try and watch a little video now that shows you, just gives you a little insight into the great work that the Hunger Project's doing. So just bear with me while I try and make this work.
Yes, this is, can I say a little word?
Yes, absolutely.
This is about young girls that have been part of our training programs, and how these young girls by themselves, it's really an illustration on how by themselves young girls of 12 or 13 years old achieve something incredible and transform completely their school and stop child marriage. They're fantastic and very inspirational.
Wonderful. Let's see if I can make this work. Bear with me.
আমার নাম ফাতেমা আক্তার রুমি, ক্লাস 10-এ পড়ি। ছোটবেলা থেকে আমার বাবা খুবই গরিব, আর এই অনেক কষ্ট করে বড় হয়েছি। তারপর বড় হয়েছে পরে তো স্কুলে আসার পর থেকে মাঝে মধ্যে একটু আসা বন্ধ হয়ে যেত, কারণ বাবা খরচ চালাইতে পারতো না, এর জন্য ঠিক হইতেছে না, তাই তারা বিয়ে দিতে চেয়েছিল। এর জন্য আমার মনে হচ্ছিল যেন আমার জীবনটাই স্টপ হয়ে গেছে, কেননা তখন তো আমার অনেক স্বপ্ন ছিল যেখানে, তো স্কুলে যাওয়াটা বন্ধ হয়েছে মানে তো সব স্বপ্নই ভেঙে গেছে। আর একটা সংসার করা তো অনেক ব্যাপার আছে, এর জন্য আর কি খুব কষ্ট হচ্ছে। বাসায় থাকতাম, তারপরে বিয়ে ঠিক হয়েছে, তারপরে
তো স্কুলে যাইতো না। তারপর আমরা স্কুলে আসলে দেখতাম যে ওই স্কুলে আইতো না। তো আমি একদিন যাই যে ওর সাথে দেখা করতে, যে বিকালবেলা ওর সাথে দেখা করতে গেছি, যে ও কেন স্কুলে আসে না। তখন দেখি ও চুপচাপ বসে আছে। তারপর ওকে জিজ্ঞাসা করলাম যে কি তুমি স্কুলে যাও না কেন? তারপর বললো যে বাবা তো আমার বিয়ে ঠিক হয়ে গেছে। তারপরে আমি বললাম যে আচ্ছা, তারপর আমি চলে আসলাম। তারপর ওদের কাছে বললাম যে এরকমের আপুর তো বিয়ে হয়ে যেতেছে।
কারণ আমার বিয়ের দিন তারিখ সবই ঠিক হয়ে গেছিল, তো বাবা হঠাৎ আমার টিচাররা, তারপরে আমার সব ফ্রেন্ডরা যখন বুঝেছে বাবাকে যে না এটা ঠিক না, এখনো আমার অনেক ভবিষ্যতে অনেক কিছু করার আছে, আর এই বাল্যবিবাহ করাটা তো আরো ঠিক না। তখন সে বুঝতে পারলো যে না আসলেই এটা ঠিক, যে বাল্যবিবাহটা ঠিক না, আমার মেয়ের জীবনে ঝুঁকি থাকতে পারে।
যখন আমরা ম্যাডামকে বললাম যে ম্যাডাম এরকম সমস্যা হচ্ছে, তারপর আমরা মিলে সিদ্ধান্ত নিলাম যে ওর যদি আমরা খরচটা বহন করি তাহলে আর এই সমস্যাটা হবে না, তাহলে তার বাবা মা ওকে বিয়ে দিতে চাবে না। আর ম্যাডাম বললো, স্যাররা বললো আমাদের স্কুলে তো মানে বিনামূল্যে যারা গরিব তাদেরকে তো বিনা খরচে মানে শিক্ষা দেওয়া হয়, আমাদের ফান্ড আছে সেই ফান্ড থেকে দেওয়া হয়। তারপর ম্যাডাম বললো কি যে তোমার মেয়েকে নিয়ে চিন্তা করতে হবে না,
ভালো করে লেখাপড়া করে তারপরে এসএসসিতে একটা ভালো রেজাল্ট করে ভালো একটা কলেজে ভর্তি, আমার যেহেতু ডাক্তার হওয়ার শখ আছে সেহেতু যদি পারি তো ভালো, না পারলে তো কিন্তু আশা আছে পারবো। তখন ওরা আমার সাথে খুবই আর কি আগে যতটা ভালো করে করতো এখন তার চেয়েও বেশি করে, কারণ না এখন ওরা আমার মনে একটা সাহস যোগায়, না আমার কিছুই হয় নাই, আমি এখনো ঠিক আছি, তো ওইটা নিয়ে জানি কোনো কিছু না ভাবি, ওইটা ভাবলেই তো আমার লেখাপড়া খারাপ হতে পারে।
প্রত্যেকটা ক্লাসই কি আছে, ঝুড়ি আছে, ডাস্টবিন আছে। আমরা ময়লা আবর্জনা গুলো কোথায় রাখবো? নদীতে। আমরা ফেলবো না। ঠিক আছে, আমরা পরিবেশটাকে।
So, you know, I watched that video, Sophie, when you sent it to me, and I thought, you know, I thought that could be my, you know, could very easily have been my girls. You know, that girl's probably a similar age to my eldest daughter, and you know, and it just you just don't want, you just can't think about that, can you? You know, and yet it goes on all the time in a continent across the world, and because it's out of sight and out of mind, we don't think about it.
Yes, and also it's extraordinary how they are inventive, finding solution, standing together as a group, supporting each other, and change, makes a change, transform their school, transforms the world. Yes, they're just amazing, and this happens every day for this problem, but many other problems. And these women and these girls are really standing up and really makes a change. There are around 800 million people in the world that are suffering from hunger. Not famine, but hunger, chronic hunger, not having enough food every day, or having blank food, as you said, with no nutrition, no vitamins, no sugar, no fat, so nothing for giving energy. And at the Hunger Project, we don't see them at 800 million people, 800 million mouths to feed, but we see 800 million people resourceful, talented, inventive, creative, and that wants to go out of poverty. And the whole, all our work is to help them to achieve that and to support them in their effort.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So there are a number of ways that, as I said, you can help out if you're called to do that. I'd really recommend that you go and check out the Facebook group, Hunger Project's Facebook group. I'll put a link to that in the comments, but I'm guessing if they search the Hunger Project, is there a specific UK one or is it a general global one?
No, there is a global one, but our UK one is the Hunger Project UK. So
Okay.
That's our Facebook group. We're putting videos, we're putting information about our events, how you can fundraise, but also nice stories like the one we just saw.
Fantastic.
And we really like when people show their support and join us. It's really
Yes.
and really rewarding for our work and our partners.
Absolutely, because I was, I'm not, this saintly person. I can't say that when I handed over that check, it wasn't like, I was thinking, oh my goodness, that could, get me this and that and the other. And then I watched those videos and I was just like, right, no hesitation at all in handing that over, because and I think that's when you see that the change, that's it, it's all about the change, isn't it, that you're making, then it's very easy to think, okay, well, I'll donate 10% of my profits or whatever it might be. And I think, from a, certainly every business development book or business / personal development book that I've ever read talks about the concept of tithing, of giving, the 10% to charity and contribution, and that being a really, just a big part of the bigger picture of your life success. And so, I think that I've personally, before I discovered the Hunger Project, I was searching for that place that I could really feel was the right contribution for me to do that. And before I came across you guys, I really hadn't found it. So I'm just thrilled personally that I've come across you and your great work, and that's making, that's fulfilling my life. I'm winning out of this as well, not just by giving you the contribution. I'm a big winner in this. There's lots of ways. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just want to say something about that. It's really, thank you very much, first of all, to you and all your supporters and all the people we've been getting GDPR compliant, thanks to you. Also, I want to mention that also as a charity, and I know you've been helping a lot of charity, your kit was incredibly useful for us, saving us time and helping us not to be compliant, but also to make it much more smoothly that it should have been. And as a charity, you don't have the money for a consultant, you don't have the money to access things, so it really been it's okay, it's really been very, very useful for us. When you mentioned,
I have to give you some credit there, actually, Sophie, because you texted me or you emailed me because we knew each other and said, is there any chance that you can can you do anything with the GDPR Pack, because as a charity we don't have the funds. And it was like this light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, brilliant, that's another way that I can do something meaningful. And then obviously I had the period where we said free packs for charities, and oh my goodness, the charity network must be, the word spread like wildfire. We were inundated with requests from small charities, and it would have been fantastic because there's not a lot of my extra time in selling 500 packs to charities or 5,000 packs or whatever, but the admin time was just, you know, we were just swamped, and we only had, I think at the time we had like a couple of people working for us, you know, so we had to then say, okay, well, we're going to do it at a much reduced price. So I think we then did it at £50. So it's like a quarter of the price, which I know still helped a lot of charities. But I would personally have loved to have given it to every single charity in the world for free. But unfortunately, as business people know, with sales comes all the admin side and the bookkeeping side and everything else side. So yeah, we had to put in that that sort of reduced price, but that was thanks to you, Sophie. So thank you for giving me the inspiration to do that.
Thank you. And the other things also you mentioned, and I think it's very important to say that we call it transformative giving, and it's also it's very good and it's very important, and it's part of everybody's life to contribute and to give to charity. But one of the things we said to the Younger Project is really like, it's very important when you've got a cause which is dear to your heart, or something that you really want to change, you've got to be active. You've got to be an active citizen and going a little bit of the extra mile to really not only make a difference and transform people's life, but really feel like yourself, you are also transforming your environment, and really stepping up and really makes a real big difference. We're working a lot on this, and with our supporters, and I thank them a lot for that and for this special miles they're doing. Yes, living 5 days on £5 is very hard. It asks for a specific effort. Working a marathon or doing a big 100, I mean, we had one of our trustees working 100 miles in one go in the month in the Jurassic Coast. That asks a very specific extra efforts to do. And that's what really make it significant, not only in terms of fundraising, not only in terms of money and on giving, but in terms of being together, being in sisterhood and brotherhood with the people who want to help.
Yeah.
But it's very important to really stand up and really.
I love your phrase there, transformative giving, because I remember probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I remember lying on my settee. I was having a Skype call with my business coach at the time, and I was in tears because I felt so frustrated at not being able to make the contribution that I wanted to. And in my mind, Sophie, that looked like I had to set up my own foundation, and I had to sell my house and move to India. And I was having this real, you know, and I don't know, and set up some new business making sandals, for, you know, all these crazy thoughts were going through my head. And it was a real struggle because I've got 2 small girls. So the logical part of me was like, well, of course you can't sell your house and go and, you know, move to India and set up, you know, this charity there or whatever. And the brilliant thing about the Hunger Project is that what I don't like is, and I think where you don't get that transformative giving is where you just do your monthly, you know, monthly direct debits are good, but you don't get that same sense of transformative giving. And what I love and what we've discussed is that, you know, for significant donations, you can actually have some input on the direction of the work that you're doing. So you and I have talked about, obviously there's a synergy with the legal work that I'm doing. A lot of the, you know, the work that you do with women is on a legal side. It's about women's rights. It's about access to land. It's about stopping child marriage. It's about domestic violence, all skills that, albeit, you know, I'm not a qualified lawyer in, you know, I don't do domestic violence and things like that, but my legal skills are very, you know, attuned to that type of work. So I can foresee that at some stage in the future, you know, maybe setting up legal clinics with you or things like that, you know, and that's something that I can really aim for and work hard in my own business, because I know that that's going to be just a brilliant byproduct of me doing that. And then I can go out and see these legal clinics and take my kids and show them, you know, what an impact that's had on these communities. And that to me is just, wow, you know. And it was about 4 or 5 years ago, I was literally in tears on my sofa because I felt so, frustrated is the wrong word, so powerless to do anything. There's a great word that I can't think of. No, it's not coming to me. But and you, Sophie, and the Hunger Project have really given me that. So I thank you for coming into my life and showing me how I can do my part. So I am honoured to be an Unleashed Woman ambassador. We're going to end by showing you a short film about that, in case there are any of you who want to be involved in that. But Sophie, do you want to just say a few words about the Unleashed Women movement?
Yes, the Unleashed Women movement is an international movement that we have. To start with, the Unleashed Women are the mothers, are the girls, the grandmothers we're working with in some of the poorest villages of the world. And they are unleashing their potential, their talent, their role as agent of change to transform their community. So it's in honor of them. And it's a group, it's a collective of women from all over the world. There are some in Australia, in New Zealand, in the US, in the UK, and all over the world, of women we decide to stand up in sisterhood with the women we help, and to do something that I will call into bracket unusual or extraordinary in support of our partners. So it all started with our baking challenge, with you and many other women taking the challenge to put your, to use your baking skills, or to put your baking skills into judgment, or into competition, to launch that movement and participate. And now the movement is growing, and there are a different level of participation according to the means of everyone and how you can contribute. Once again, the idea is to make a specific effort, to make something extraordinary. So if you're comfortable in one level, you can go to the other one, maybe trying. So it's around raising, having a commitment to raise, it starts at £500 in a year, and you go to up 5,000 or even more. And it's to work with us and to organize some fundraising activities, or give a portion of your income or of your taking as a business to transform the life of others and to transform the world. We've got also networking events. We've got a community.
Which are really good, by the way. The networking events are, you get some really great women involved. I've met some brilliant people through them. Fantastic.
And yes, and also it creates synergy with people with the same kind of concern and the same kind of willingness to contribute to the world and to do things together. So it's all about celebration. I didn't mention, but in Africa, we're working through cluster of communities we call epicenters. We've got, over the last 2 years, 24 of our epicenter communities which have declared themselves self-reliant, which have been celebrating their success. Yes, it's more than 400,000 people.
Wow.
We're talking about, what does it mean? We're talking about things like having at least one literate person per household, having 100% of the village having access to safe drinking water, having nearly 90% of the children attending schools, having all births done, you know, with the assistance of health practitioner. And it's all about celebrating. And Unleash Women, it's all about celebrating the success of our partners, but also the success all together and our progress toward ending hunger and poverty by 2030. So this is a short little, I think, video that gives you a little bit of the test of what it is. And please, please, please get in touch if you want to get on board. We will welcome you. By the way, men and women as part of the Unleash Women community.
Great, right, let me try and play this. Share my screen. Okay. Fantastic. Let me just stop that share. Pause that. Right. And what was the figure on that, Sophie? It flashed by quite quickly. Was it 400,000?
It was 200,000, which is dollars, which is the global objective of the Unleash Women, minimum objective of the Unleash Women community all over the world. To raise this year. On the UK side, we want to achieve, we're aiming at achieving 50,000 by the end of the year as a contribution to the Unleash Women Fund and to our programs empowering women to end hunger and poverty in their villages.
Fantastic. Good stuff. So I think I said half an hour, Sophie. I told you it would go so quickly, didn't I? You know, I thought half an hour, what will we talk about? But I knew it would go so quickly. So I just want to say thank you to everyone in the group again for buying the pack, because you have enabled me to be able to make a contribution to a charity that I absolutely love, that makes so much difference in the local communities, as you've seen on this video. It's, you know, I wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys, is what I'm saying. So that's why I wanted to do this little video in the group. I wanted to let you know where part of your money has gone. I hope that you are inspired by seeing the work of the Hunger Project, and that you would like to personally get involved, whether that is through donating a part of your business's profits, or being an Unleash Women ambassador, or taking part in their different events that they have. And at the very least, go and check out their website, which is the Hunger Project UK. So any final words, Sophie, before we wrap it up?
I just want to say thank you very much. Thank you very much to you and to all the people in your GDPR Facebook group and who have been purchasing the pack. The donation will go a long, long way and will transform many, many, many lives. So thank you so much. And thank you to have given me the opportunity to tell a little bit more about our work and about all the people who've been purchasing the kit, and yourself have made a difference. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sophie. Thanks for being with us. And thanks, you guys who've watched live. Thanks for watching the recording. Spread the word about the Hunger Project. I say it's a relatively small charity. It does fantastic work. Tell your friends, tell other business owners, talk about it at your networking meetings, and tell them what fantastic work they're doing and get involved. All right. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Sophie. I will see you very soon.
Bye-bye.